decided not to go and address her supporters.
It would say closed early sign on the front of the
real reason Hillary disappeared was because she was...
Critics have accused Clinton of hiding from reporters.
I'm back! I am so sick.
He was not fit to be president.
Help us fight!
Hillary Clinton's corruption is on a scale we have never seen before.
Nobody should be fooled. It won't be easy or quick, but make no mistake, we will prevail.
What I'm about to show you in the next 5 minutes will be extremely difficult to watch, but it will also save your life. You're about to hear a private briefing about the truth behind the 2016 election and Hillary Clinton's one final desperate act still to come. It also exposes a corrupt conspiracy involving Clinton, a secret society of gangsters, and other high-ranking government officials. And for the last 23 years, it's remained a total secret.
23, huh?
To be clear, people involved never expected the inner workings of their plan to see the light of day. If it weren't just for one tiny mistake, it would have remained buried forever. So if you're ready for the truth, keep watching. But if you don't think you can handle it, close this video now before you hear what I'm about to say next. This will be your only opportunity to hear my warning and take action to protect yourself and your family. Ready? Here goes. Did Hillary rig the 2016 election all the way back in 1993?
Duh.
And in exchange, allow a sinister act to kill 31,000 American seniors that year and more every year after?
Yep.
Impossible? Trust me, your liberal friends and family won't be able to deny the thing once you show them the information I'm unable to uncover. It's a secret plan cooked up by crooked Hillary herself that I've identified as Executive Plan 5. And it's a scheme so elaborate and far-reaching it can only be defined as high treason. Here was the plan. On January 20th, 2017, Hillary was supposed to place her hand on the Bible and take the presidential oath of office, not as the victor of an honest and fair election, but as a liar, a traitor, and a conspiracy mastermind of the rigged election. Fortunately, you and I both know how her story ended. She failed to become president, thank God for that. While President-elect Trump was watching his electoral votes flood in, Hillary went into hiding, practically disappearing off the face of the earth. Why? Because she knows this isn't a simple case of he won, she lost. No, there's so much more to the story than that, and the treason goes deeper than you or I could ever imagine. So while most Americans are breathing a sigh of relief that Trump will serve as our next president, what 99.98% of them won't know is the uncomfortable truth.
I know it.
The outcome of this election, arguably the most important one of our lifetime, was actually planned 23 years ago, behind closed doors in a top-secret location.
Yep.
And even though Hillary has all but disappeared now, her entire sinister plot is still unfolding and putting millions of American lives in jeopardy every single day. Worse yet, Trump, Pence, or any of the high-powered politicos in D.C. are absolutely powerless to stop her. How do I know for sure? I'll explain everything, but let me start by introducing myself. My name is Dr. Alan Spreen, and I work for an organization just outside Washington, D.C., a patriotic group that monitors our government for exactly this type of thing. I can't reveal my sources, but a network of insiders gives me special access to this kind of information. We've uncovered a lot of dirt over the last
Kind of like me.
but nothing this huge. I might even be putting myself at risk to publish this report today. I've actually been tracking this story for years, following paper trails, checking facts, and gathering a mountain of evidence along the way. But even I didn't want to believe that this kind of thing could actually happen in America.
That's why we're
So
pissed.
I saw Hillary's speech when she accepted the Democratic nomination. It was her smug smile and the way she waved like a queen at the crowd through the sleeves of her $12,000 pantsuit jacket. She knew she'd already won. I decided right then and there that I wasn't going to let her get away with it, and I know you won't either. Truthfully, even the craziest of left-wing lip nuts won't be able to deny the proof in 618 of this video. that Hillary has co-signed the most devastating American scandal this country has ever known. That's right, co-signed. Because even though I truly believe Hillary is a force of evil,
Of course not.
nation, she isn't in this alone. In fact, during my investigation,
But remember, people, I was crazy.
Operating strategically behind the scenes and manipulating Hillary's career with her full blessing. My colleagues and I call that secret organization the Clinton Cartel, and they're every bit as power-hungry and despicable as Hillary herself.
That's why they protect her.
Back in 1993, the Clinton Cartel has been Hillary's ally on every rung of the political ladder, moving all the right chess pieces to buy her election.
Yep.
Knowing that starting in 2017, with Queen Hillary running the show, she'd be returning the favor. That's right, in exchange for delivering her presidency on a silver platter, she'd look the other way while giving the cartel full access to run one of our government's biggest agencies for limitless profits.
Healthcare.
When Hillary's scheme went into effect in 2017, the cartel would have unprecedented access to our government and a direct path to your health and money. With their plan set in motion, she was guaranteed to win. Guaranteed. Only they didn't pull it off. And now the cartel, hungrier than ever, still wants to be paid back, even if it's at the expense of American
Exactly.
lives. I'll explain exactly what I mean, but here's the part that will really blow your mind. Clinton swore up and down the campaign trail that the cartel are actually her enemies. She's absolutely shameless. She publicly denounced them and says they're out to take advantage of middle-class Americans, and they are. But behind closed doors, she's been greedily accepting their money and their help for decades. Friend, what you're about to see next proves exactly why she was always unfit to be president and why we could never allow her into the White House. Here are the facts. When Bill first assigned Hillary to lead
I
the
told
task
you.
force on national health care reform in 1993, she immediately put 33 corporate power players on her team. Now, these are some real heavy hitters across several industries that she knew had the muscle to get things done in D.C. and weren't afraid to get their hands dirty in the process. It was a real deal with the devil, to be sure, but this group stood to make a killing. Because with the approval of the new health care bill, they were promised a payout to the tune of $10 billion in new revenues. Yep, that's billion with a B. Fortunately, you and I both now know how that ended. Thankfully, the bill was destroyed before it ever got off the ground, and Hillary's teammates never got to cash their checks. But failure has never stopped Hillary. She's had plenty of it, but her lust for power is never ending. And she knew that in our country, money can still buy power, but you need lots of it. So she decided to form a secret alliance with this group of corporate fat cats. And with nothing more than a secret meeting and brief handshake to seal their pact, the Clinton Cartel was born. They vowed to never speak of their arrangement again, but I was watching, and what you're about to hear next
A lot of us
is
were.
public record, the undeniable proof of the cartel's work. Fast forward to Hillary's 2000 Senate bid. The cartel funneled $86,875 in cash into her campaign, ensuring her victory. During her re-election in 2006, they upped the ante and pumped $157,015 into her campaign. And again, she won. Then came the 2008 presidential election, when the cartel gave her $174,000 in cash. The cartel didn't even care if Hillary lost in the primaries. They had their sights on 2016 the entire time. Fast forward to 2015, when Hillary announced that she was running for president. And now the cartel went all in, to the tune of $7,054,871. But they didn't stop there either. Trying not to draw much attention to their partnership, they privately made additional contributions to the Clinton Foundation ranging from $1 million to $5 million each. In total, it's estimated that Hillary has accepted over $10.8 billion in cartel dirty money since 2000. And that's only including what's publicly shown on her books.
Yep.
That kind of money buying all the votes she needed, the scheme was practically foolproof, until her carefully laid plan was outed in the final hours before the election. Hillary rightfully lost, and the cartel was once again left with their pockets turned inside out. But that just made them even angrier.
You
So,
think?
who exactly is this faceless cartel? And why should we still be afraid of them, even after Donald Trump becomes president? And most importantly, you protect yourself and your loved experience, I've found Clinton's cartel to be an extremely cunning and dangerous team.
Yeah, all them dead bodies.
Consist of highly influential figures, lobbyists, and even corporate executives. Now that might not sound intimidating at first blush, but in partnership with Hillary, they've already launched Executive Plan 5 with one simple goal: manipulate American politics and the American people for billions in pharmaceutical drug profits.
Bingo!
Ever catch on. What's even more terrifying is that this group is not made of politicians. Look, Trump has promised to drain the swamp in D.C., but these folks are too powerful to be touched. So even without Hillary on their side, they can still have unprecedented power to influence our government's health care laws and policies. Take, for example, the FDA. The cartel has been funding that group for years. They practically own it already. Now, in just 2015 alone, the FDA received $97,605,000 in standard fees from the cartel, all to allow more prescription drugs to flood the market, making billions for the cartel.
Can you say fentanyl? Oxycodone?
In fact, it should rocket to well over $100 million a year in money paid to the FDA, allowing the cartel to continue to push their poison pills for billions in profit. And the worst part is, they're selling us prescription drugs that are completely unnecessary, and many of them are deadly. Did you know the FDA receives more than 2 million consumer complaints about prescription drugs every single year? It gets worse. It's estimated that over 350 Americans are dropping dead every single day.
Thank you, Hillary.
Prescribed medication. That means in the short time you've watched this presentation, 2 more Americans have died from the cartel's work, and seniors are at the most.
And now they want your guns,
Maybe you're
too.
sitting here and saying that will never be me. Then let me ask you, are you over the age of 55 and taking a prescription drug?
Not yet.
Does your spouse take any medications? More than 31,000 seniors will die this year from legally prescribed medications. But what can you do? Your well-meaning doctor prescribes them for high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, whatever it is. And you need them, right? Well, that's what the Clinton cartel wants you to believe. But today we're exposing their most dangerous lie. You see, the organization I work for is called the Health Sciences Institute, or HSI. We're an independent think tank of patriotic American doctors, scientists, and researchers, and we are fighting back against Hillary and her slimy cartel by exposing the biggest lie ever, starting with 5 words they never wanted you to hear. You don't need prescription.
Cha-ching!
Not when there are already very real cures and treatments for the diseases that plague us. Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, MS, heart disease, even cancer. Cures they've actively covered up for the last 23 years. And today we're exposing everything and revealing every disease-curing secret so they lose and you win. Like a cancer cure that beats chemotherapy and starts killing cancer cells in just hours. Covered up by our own government, you won't believe this outrageous scandal. The easy secret to reversing Alzheimer's and dementia with the power to roll your brain's clock back 12 years. How did this one get there? The truth comes out today. The only solution that erases arthritis pain and rebuilds arthritic joints. Pain back.
Okay, so you can go to the information that I'm going to leave below for you. Because more than likely they're going to copyright strike this, but I thought it was more important to get the information out as fast as I could. You guys can download this or you can go to the Health Science Institute. What I did, this is the email. Okay? So I don't want to play all of that, but you can go to the Health Sciences Institute. I'll put the information below and get more information. But what this person just told you in 5 minutes, I've been telling you for 5 years, and so have other people. Hillary Clinton is the most dangerous criminal today on the planet. Hillary Clinton is the most prolific serial murderer in American history. The single-handed, most devious, wicked human being I have ever seen, because she plays a mommy, she plays a grandmommy, she plays all of these roles, and she's nothing more than a satanic witch. She hates you. Let me say this again. Hillary Clinton hates you. She hates you with such a passion and such a drive and a demonic influence. She is possessed to take this country down. Her and her cartel, her cabal, are literally obsessed with doing everything they can because the world follows us. I was drinking coffee this morning, and I got on a video stream that had to do with The Voice. And then the following videos, of course, on that feed was the voice from every single country in the world. People, it starts here and it spreads out. And if you let these murderer supporters get away with it, some of you, I'm warning you, you can't change their minds. You can't. But somehow you can make it their idea to come up with the conclusions that you are desperately beating your head against the wall for. And one of the best tools I've ever learned was from a doctor. I can't remember his name, but he's on television a lot. And he's a addiction specialist. He's got dreadlocks and all kinds of shit, but he basically said, I refuse to engage in conversation, debate, or even an argument with people who refuse to obey the law of evidence. So what you're going to get is what I call the law of reversed effort. Not only are they going to dismiss what you say, but it's like one of those Get Smart cartoons where, you know, the doors slam, the elevator, and there's 50,000 different barriers into their common sense. Now you have to show them. Some will get it. Some will hate you. Because nobody likes to feel like a sucker. Nobody likes to feel like they were had. Nobody likes to feel like they were tricked. And that's more than anything the problem with most people who are still supporting and upholding this lie. Even the people who are interviewing Struck today can't help themselves because they're complicit. You notice we haven't seen too much of Sheila Jackson since her Pizzagate ring was exposed. And I noticed a lot of people picked up on it. I am sure other people saw it and put out their own, Amber Alert. Which makes me feel better because then I'm not the only one seeing this stuff. But even going back 3 years just before the election and Operation American Neighborhood, I tried to warn you. Because I could see the and then game. I could see the ripples in the pond. And past proves present. And if she's going to do what she used to do before, nobody's talking about this. Hillary's money has been cut off she can't access her money because of what Trump signed. An executive order. That's why Soros is transferring all his money. Because Trump is going to confiscate it. And he's going to use that money not only to compensate Americans, but to reimburse other countries, from what I'm reading, who have been raped and pillaged by this beast. Since 1993, and in my gut I know the Bushes and the Clintons are behind all three Kennedy's murders. But when are you guys who keep supporting this bullshit agenda, and you got scumbuckets like Michelle Wolf celebrating abortion? Abortion isn't a tattoo. It is on your soul. I can't tell you how many women's lives were destroyed and tricked into giving an abortion by Planned Parenthood. It got to the point where they wouldn't even allow me to escort anybody anymore because I kept calling them on their bullshit. I would call them when they're 2 or 3 weeks later, she's drinking herself to death or slitting her wrist. And every single time, the relationship never, ever prevailed. It never, ever went beyond that. Because when you do that, you kill a part of both of you. And she hates you for it, and you hate her for doing it. You hate her, the male part of this, because she caved into your begging. It's me or the kid. And you actually disrespect her. You hate her. You despise her for being weak. Unless there's something medically wrong, or it's rape. It's not something to celebrate. It's not a brownie badge you get to wear on your sash. But they'd like you to think it is. Because if you willingly, with all the information now, participate in this, it's one of the first things the fallen taught us. You reject it. You rejected life. And they want to make you think it's something like a bucket list thing. Not all of us are cut out to be mothers and fathers. But those of us who are have a responsibility to make sure that your child never becomes a slave to people like this. But instead, you were willing, some of you, it didn't matter if she cut a baby's head off in the middle of Times Square. You would have still voted her into office. And if some of you have seen my videos when I taught about what a TOFIT is, and why you're hearing about all of these decapitations, go back and look in my videos. How many people got to die around this witch? How many more people willingly jump down the chute for this woman? End up in trash compactors because that's what she thinks of you. That's what they think of you. You're no better than garbage. You ought to throw yourself down the chute now. And if you don't think mind control's involved, who just walks into their building and then jumps into the trash compactor? Who does that? I could think of a million ways to die. That's not one of them. No, it was a message to be sent. Hillary Clinton in 1993 made a deal. You can kill 100 of her babies a day. That's okay. None of this is by chance. And the only reason why you are at a blue camp or a red camp is because Trump threw a monkey wrench into it. And I think that's more about ego than anything else. Don't get me wrong. I am extremely grateful for the things he's done for everybody else. But his actions affected me and are still affecting me negatively. But I am not so self-centered that I can't see the big picture and understand that though it may not directly benefit me, collectively, our country is better off right now. So those of us who are, pre-Pong and pre-digital and pre-microwave and pre-cell phone, we don't have a lot of days left on the planet. We're not worried about us. We're worried about the children you're bringing into the world and if they're really human anymore. We're worried about the fact that they're trying to take the most precious thing you have, your mind and your soul. People, you have to understand. This isn't about right or left. It's not about that at all. It's not about red or blue. It's about wrong or right. And if you can look at all the evidence and still give that fucking monster a pass because she's a female and recite all of her years in service to the United States, you've got it upside down. You have been her servant for the last 4 decades. You've been her bitch. Don't you notice how these people wearing these real big, thick gold chains or silver chains? Theresa May wears it all the time. That's because it's the Baphomet card. It's the devil card in the tarot deck. The chains aren't tied around your neck. You put them on yourself. And whether your chains are made out of gold or steel, if they own your mind and your soul and your heart, you are already in a prison you can't get out of. So all I can say to you is step back. Look at the evidence. And I'm talking about one person who could have changed things for the better for women all over the world. Instead, she specifically and purposely sought out to enslave every single country. She stood by and kissed the ass of these Arab nations that enslaved their women. Wasn't until Trump got in that they were allowed to drive. You may not think that has anything to do with it, but it sure as hell does. Hillary Clinton set her Hollywood friends up with nonprofits. So in case the CIA money deals didn't come in from the movie studios run by the Zionists, they'd have something to fall back on, and a never-ending supply of adrenochrome and all the sex fuck kids you can have. You may not like my language, but I don't know how else to put it to you anymore. If I'm nice about it, you don't take it seriously. This is beyond an election. This is beyond red and blue. Because if you notice, the same colors are being used all over the world. The same floor plan, the same format is being implemented all over the world. Has been for the last 2 decades. Most governments are formatted on this New World Order government that they wanted. NATO is not our friend. They're not our allies. It was a cartel set up after World War II to make sure that nobody would think, as a ruler or as a president, that they could stand up to a collective group of nations. Had nothing to do with world peace, because they created the wars. It had everything to do with casting a big net and just cinching it all up so everybody's involved. Everybody's included. Go to Cubic Inc., David Hogg's father's, alleged father's company. CubicInc.com. It's a swastika disguised as a cube with the earth in the middle of it. And their mission statement is for the new government. What new government? You read through all their stuff, they're training private paramilitary people to kick in your doors, subcontracted by the DOD to gun confiscation. So David Hogg, part of this cartel, is whining about guns, but his father manufactures them. Unconventional warfare. You got to stop protecting the psychopaths. You really do. You got to stop protecting the murderers, the rapists. I'm starting to feel like many of you identify with them. That it's okay to rape children. It's okay to beat women. It's okay to cheat, lie, steal to get what you want. And if that's the case, you're the enemy. You are of your father. Not so crazy lady out.